Before we ruled the world, before cities rose from stone and before fire bent the night to human will, life moved at the pace of breath and hunger. The day began not with purpose, but with awareness. An early human stirred among tall grasses as the first light crept across the African land, feeling the cold of the ground and the warmth of the sun in equal measure. Survival did not wait for readiness. Eyes opened, already searching, ears already listening, the body already tense. Every morning was a question, and the answer was never guaranteed. The land offered beauty, but it carried no kindness. Dry grass stretched to the horizon, broken only by scattered trees and the distant shapes of animals moving through dust and heat. This early human rose slowly, testing stiff muscles shaped by constant movement. Hunger pressed quietly but persistently, reminding the body that stillness was dangerous. Food was never owned, only found, and finding it meant moving through spaces where death also moved freely. Walking through the grass required patience. Each step was placed with care, not to save energy, but to avoid sound. The body knew what the mind had not yet learned, that predators listened as carefully as prey. Eyes scanned for movement, not seeking beauty, but threat. A rustle could mean wind, or it could mean teeth. Life was a balance between moving forward and disappearing into the land. Food appeared not as abundance, but as opportunity. A fruit hanging low or roots exposed by dry soil could mean the difference between strength and weakness. Hands examined carefully, guided by memory passed through generations without words. Taste was cautious. Poison and nourishment often looked the same, and mistakes were rarely forgiven. Each bite carried both relief and risk, and eating never meant safety. The sun climbed higher, and with it came heat that pressed down on skin and breath. Sweat carried the cost of movement, and water became as important as food. The land offered no certainty of relief. Streams vanished and puddles dried without warning. Finding water meant remembering the land, reading signs invisible to outsiders, and trusting instincts shaped by countless lives before. Kneeling to drink was never done without caution, because water gathered more than thirst. Rest was brief and uneasy. The body leaned against stone or tree not for comfort, but to preserve strength. Sleep during daylight invited danger. Even stillness required attention. Insects bit, the sun burned, and distant calls carried messages of unseen events. The world spoke constantly, and ignoring it was a mistake paid for in blood. As the light softened and shadows lengthened, the land changed again. Evening brought no peace, only different dangers. Predators that hid from the sun began to move, and the air felt heavier with uncertainty. The early humans searched for a place not of comfort, but of concealment. Tall grass, rocks, or shallow ground depressions offered fragile protection. Safety was never absolute, only negotiated moment by moment. Night did not bring rest as it would for modern humans. Darkness stripped away vision and gave advantage to those born to hunt within it. The body curled low, conserving warmth and hiding its shape. Eyes remained open more than closed, listening to the sounds of movement, breathing, and distant calls. Fear was not an emotion, but a state of being, as constant as hunger. Time passed without measure. There were no hours, only waiting and surviving. The early human endured the night not through strength or dominance, but through restraint and awareness. Many nights ended with silence. Some ended with screams that faded into memory carried by others. Survival was not heroic. It was quiet, uncertain, and relentless. When light finally returned, it did not promise safety, only another chance. The body rose again, tired but alive, shaped by yet another cycle of endurance. Each sunrise belonged to those who had survived the darkness. They did not know they were shaping the future. They did not know the world would one day bend to human hands. They only knew that they had lived one more day. Before we ruled the world, life was not about conquest or control. It was about noticing, enduring, and continuing. The cities, the tools, and the stories would come much later. What came first was the will to rise again, step into uncertainty, and survive another ordinary day in a world that did not care if humanity continued.